Yep, so we're in the January transfer window and we're going to look at some Manchester United players that should be kept, loaned or sold. And not necessarily in the January transfer window, we're talking maybe in the summer as well. Let's talk about a player I've been quite critical of recently, Andre Onana, and absolutely not. You know, this is not a player that needs to be sold, which might surprise some people, but the standard's not good enough. It is early days. I remember the early days of De Gea. I don't think they were this bad. But I certainly think there's a few more months in the season yet. And I don't think they'll even sell him in the summer. But if he continues to make mistakes, then big clubs are ruthless. And he would have to go in the summer, in my opinion. Next up, we've got Harry Maguire, very close to a move to West Ham in the summer, but actually stayed and did reasonably well before he got injured. I wouldn't be doing anything with Maguire in the summer, in the January transfer window, unless a big offer came in. But I think in the summer, when you look at his career at Manchester United and his age profile and wanting to move forward as a club over the next 3 years as a project, I think that's probably a little bit too much for Maguire. So I would be selling him on in the summer. Next name, we've got Rafael Varane. There was talk of him actually going in January to Saudi Arabia, so Manchester United could raise some money. I was dead against that, but I think as we go into the summer, this is the sort of signing where you've got to take emotion out of it and go, is Varane going to be part of a 3-year project at his age with his injury issues? Or could you cash in and remove that massive wage? I wouldn't be opposed to selling Varane in the summer, but on the other hand, I don't mind keeping him either. But I think that if we want to move forward on a project, I think the summer would be the time to cash in and sell Varane. Next, we've got Mason Mount. Terrible start to his Manchester United career. You can almost say he's a January transfer signing because he's done nothing as a summer signing with these 2 injuries. We're confused as a fan base as to where he's going to fit in. I still don't know where he fits in, but we've spent £55 million on him. And it's unfair to say sell him when he's not really had any game time. So I think we're just going to have to see what happens with Mount in the second part of the season. So it would be keep Mason Mount for me, and let's hope something big happens in the second half of the season. Sticking in the midfield, we've got Christian Eriksen. And I think for me, this is a definite let go. Good player, probably not used properly at Manchester United. I always saw Eriksen as a number 10 when he was at Spurs. I don't know why we've played him as a number 8. He's not quick enough. He doesn't pick up the runners. He's not physical enough. I think he's out of position. This is the sort of player that you've got to rejuvenate that position and let Christian go in the summer, sadly. I think when we're talking Casemiro next, I'm not in a similar boat to Varane here. Casemiro, I think we've seen the likes of Modric and Kroos play well into their mid-30s, and Casemiro's still 3-4 years off that. So I think that personally, I think the quality of the player and what he can offer to that team, you can't get rid of everybody in the summer. And if Varane, Maguire and Eriksen go, I think you've got to keep one of the senior players. And I think Casemiro would be the best one to keep. So 100% I'd be keeping Casemiro in the summer. And what are we going to do with Manchester United's current top goal scorer, Scott McTominay? There are some Manchester United fans out there that think he's a decent player. I'm not one of those. I think that McTominay does exactly what he says on the tin. If he scores a goal, it makes a difference. If he doesn't score a goal, there's next to nothing that he brings to the team. So this is a player that is not a Manchester United player. I think McTominay needs to go. I'd be amazed if the club did it. It's amazing how they keep using him, but it's 100% sell Scott McTominay for me. With Anthony Martial up next, I think this is really easy. It comes down to player power and why he's still here. That most Manchester United fans would agree that the road is come to an end with Anthony Martial. It's ridiculous that the contract might get run down just to earn a little bit more money. There's no value in keeping Anthony Martial, and he should be going in the January transfer window. So it's a sell now with Martial. Next up, we've got Marcus Rashford. There'll be zero appetite from the club to remove a homegrown player like Marcus Rashford, especially when they've given him such a massive contract. What would I do? I think that the next 4 months for Marcus Rashford are crucial. I don't think we can have another 4 months like the last 4 months. Let's hope that the goal against Spurs is a spark, because we know he is capable of scoring goals. I don't want to see Marcus Rashford sold from Manchester United. I want to see Marcus Rashford at his best at Manchester United. So I would keep, but it's certainly got to be a watching brief on that. It's not acceptable to play like he has done for the last 5 months. And Anthony's up next. The price tag is ridiculous. As for the player, again, I think it's similar to Rashford. You've got to give him the next 4 months and then look at it in the summer. And if we hit the summer and it's still not there, I think it's going to be very difficult to justify a future at Manchester United. And he could be a player that we end up loaning in the summer, to be honest, if he has a bad next 4 months, I think.